California's governor has filed an emergency motion to try to block the deployment of Marines and National Guard troops to the city of Los Angeles amid ongoing protests. We're going to take you straight to our North America correspondent, Lauren Day, who is there for us this morning. Lauren, what's happening where you are now?
James, just another example of how volatile and how fast-changing this situation is. I was about to talk to you about how calm and how peaceful it's been here this morning, and then literally just a couple of minutes ago, the police and National Guard started pushing towards the protesters. There was a bit of a scuffle, and then they started firing tear gas pellets, pepper spray pellets and possibly foam rounds into the crowd. I could feel a little bit of the pepper spray in my throat. It's the second time in 24 hours that we've experienced that. We were tear gassed last night, which is an extremely unpleasant situation. It really burns your eyes and your nose and your throat. It makes it hard to breathe, makes you really want to get out of there, and that's why they use it as a crowd dispersal technique. Also last night, my colleague ended up getting shot with one of these projectiles, possibly a rubber bullet or one of these foam rounds. He was safe, thankfully. He was wearing one of those Kevlar vests, but it's just another reminder that even journalists covering these protests certainly not immune from the chaos. Now, the Mayor of LA gave a press conference this morning. I asked her about another incident where an Australian journalist was shot by a rubber bullet, and here's what she told me earlier.
Well, I think it's terrible. I think it sends a terrible message. As you said, the Prime Minister of the country had to respond. The President of Mexico has responded. Again, I know, but maybe I don't, that these countries look at this, and I don't think they thought there was some grand thing happening here that required ICE agents to come and disrupt workplaces or chase people through Home Depot parking lots.
And of course, this is all caught up in the political situation in the United States as well. There have been a number of statements overnight from Californian officials and also the White House too.
That's right, and the Governor of California, Gavin Newsom, has now filed an urgent motion to try to stop the Trump administration's deployment of 700 active duty Marines here in LA. We understand that they've arrived to complement those 4,000 National Guard members, some of whom you can see behind me who've been sent here. That number was doubled yesterday by Donald Trump, even after he said that the situation in LA was under control. We've also learnt this morning the Pentagon has confirmed that this entire operation is costing about $134 million US, a huge amount of money if, as the Governor and the Mayor say, it's completely unnecessary. Now, a very fast-moving situation here. We're not sure what will happen. Leaders are all calling for peace. We'll see if that's what they give them.
All right, Lauren Day, we'll come back to you later in the program. Thank you.
To breaking news, Australia has joined like-minded governments in issuing sanctions against two of the most controversial members of Israel's government, accusing them of inciting violence against Palestinians in the West Bank. The joint action by Australia, New Zealand, the UK, Canada and Norway targets National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir and Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich with travel bans and a freeze on their assets. Foreign Minister Penny Wong says the sanctions don't mean Australia is deviating from its support for Israel's security in the wake of Hamas's deadly attacks on October 7, 2023. Middle East correspondent Matthew Doran has the latest from Jerusalem.
Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich are two of the most vocal members of Benjamin Netanyahu's coalition cabinet and hold some of the most extreme views in Israeli politics about the West Bank and Gaza. It's that ideology and the public rhetoric which flows as a result, which is fueling these sanctions announced overnight. The pair hit with travel bans and having their assets frozen across 5 countries.
These two individuals, Ben-Gvir and Smotrich, have been inciting violence against Palestinian people for months and months and months. They have been encouraging egregious abuses of human rights. We have been raising this with the Israeli government both privately and publicly.
Itamar Ben-Gvir is Israel's national security minister with control of the nation's police force, while Bezalel Smotrich is the country's finance minister. They've both advocated for a dramatic expansion of Jewish settlements in the West Bank, a practice which has been ruled unlawful by the International Court of Justice. And just last week, the Israeli government approved another 22 settlements on top of the around 100 which already exist. The pair also marched in the Jerusalem Day event through the Old City, where fellow marchers chanted slogans such as "Death to Arabs." While they've made repeated comments about Gaza, saying it will be destroyed, that it needs to be settled and that no aid should be allowed in, the sanctions are specifically with regards to their conduct in the West Bank. Although in the joint statement of the foreign ministers, including Penny Wong, the group said the actions couldn't be viewed in isolation from the war in Gaza, describing it as a catastrophe. The response from the Netanyahu government came quickly.
It is outrageous that elected representatives and members of the government are subjected to this kind of measures. I discussed it earlier today with Prime Minister Netanyahu, and we will hold a special government meeting early next week to decide on our response to this unacceptable decision.
The sanctions do not scare me. Boo to the white paper. I will continue to act for our country, for our people. I will continue to act and make sure that they do not let humanitarian aid into Hamas. We overcame Pharaoh. We will overcome this too.
The Netanyahu government's shown little interest in listening to or heeding warnings coming from other countries. So while this is a strengthening of Australia's stance, it's unlikely to change the behaviour of people like Bezalel Smotrich and Itamar Ben-Gvir. It's the United States which is the key here. And the US ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, has revealed late today in an interview with Bloomberg that he does not believe a two-state solution in this part of the world is still a goal of US foreign policy. It's language and rhetoric like that which will only embolden ministers like Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich.
That's our Middle East correspondent Matthew Doran reporting there. And we just want to bring you some breaking news. A short time ago, Marco Rubio, the US Secretary of State, he's issued a statement condemning these sanctions. He says that they do not advance US-led efforts to achieve a ceasefire, bring hostages home and end the war. He says he rejects any notion of equivalence, saying that Hamas is a terrorist organisation. He also reminded America's partners not to forget who the real enemy is. They are his words. He's also urging the reversal of these sanctions. We will be speaking with our Foreign Minister, Australia's Foreign Minister, Penny Wong, in about half an hour's time. So stay tuned for that. But first, let's get over to Emma for the rest of the day's news.
Thank you. We're going to stay overseas because Austria's Chancellor has announced 3 days of national mourning. It's after 10 people were killed in a school shooting. Police believe the suspected shooter, who was a 21-year-old former student at the school, killed himself at the scene. They're yet to provide any information, though, about a possible motive. Tasmanians still don't know if they'll have to go to the polls for the 4th time in 7 years as the state's governor explores all available options. Embattled Premier Jeremy Rockliff visited the governor late yesterday to request an election in the wake of last week's no confidence motion. Among the alternative options available, the Liberals could seek a new leader to replace Mr Rockliff, or Labor could attempt to form a minority government. The aged care sector and federal crossbenchers are demanding the government fund thousands more home care packages to help older people live at home. The current program was set to be replaced next month, alongside more than 80,000 extra supported home packages, but the government has delayed the sweeping changes till November. Elective surgery waiting lists in New South Wales have blown out, according to the latest quarterly statistics. 8,500 people had their surgery delayed beyond the recommended timeframe. That's an increase of more than 150% compared with the first 3 months of last year. The state's health minister says an extra $23 million has been committed to help tackle the problem. Australia's 2035 emissions target is still up in the air, with the Climate Change Authority yet to settle on a final figure. The authority's recommendations are due in September, setting the course for Australia's next climate milestone. Authority Chair Matt Keane says extensive community consultation has focused on a 65 to 75% reduction, but more work is needed. The ABC has confirmed the companies tasked with developing a new Army water landing craft due to be built in WA are yet to agree on a final design. There are now fears the $2 billion project could be delayed by up to 2 years. A government spokesperson, though, insists the completion date on the medium landing craft fleet remains 2026.
And to finance now, let's have a look at the board. The Dow bouncing back today and the Aussie dollar at 65 US cents.
Now, WA authorities say it could take days to fix a burst wastewater main. Oh, that is causing quite a stink in a number of Perth's southern suburbs. Sewage has been seeping into 2 homes and the front yards of another 4. The overflow has also spread into the Swan River and, yes, onto that sporting field there as well.